All right, we have Hunter Azure joining us right now. He returns to action on Wednesday, May 13th, and he takes on Brian Kelleher in Jacksonville, Florida. Hunter, good to see you, man. How are you?
Doing great, man. Can't complain. It's nice down here in Phoenix, so enjoying the weather and training.
So as we record, we're 6 days away from this one, and it came together really quickly. Typically, you're going to get longer camps and there's a cut to 135 involved. But this time, as Brian Kelleher told me on Instagram last week, this fight's going to take place at the, quote, quarantined weight class at 145 pounds. So this one, leading into it, feel a lot different than your previous fights?
Yeah, dude, it's being up at the quarantine weight, I guess. It's pretty nice. I've been able to keep my weight on and eat a lot, so it's helping with the recovery a bunch, and it just takes a lot of focus from the weight cut and just being able to drill and go over moves and train.
You're coming off the impressive performances on the Contender Series. You got your Octagon debut win over Brad Katona, and you're a very active guy in your career. This is the longest you've had a layoff between fights since heading into your second professional bout, if memory serves me correctly. And I know you've had a lot of other things going on in your life, and we'll touch on that in a minute, but has it been a little strange not having competed in over 7 months?
Yeah, it's thrown me off a little bit, but because after that last fight, I told him I was ready to go by the end of the year again. So it's been a little time off, but at the same time, I was just staying in the gym, focusing on little details in my game and just continuing to grow as a martial artist. So, in a way, it's been a great 7 months just to focus and not worry about a fight camp.
What has gym life been like during this quarantine? Is just sort of limited numbers? What have you had to change to kind of make up for the restrictions and all that stuff?
Well, the gyms are closed down, so we just have to, there's like 2 different gyms we go to and just keep it to the minimum people and just have the coaches there and the couple training partners I need. And then every once in a while I go see some buddies who have mats and stuff in their garage, go hang out, go roll, just get some work in there. I'll go find a mountain, go do some runs, do some sprints. So I'm always pretty active. When I have free time, I like to go outside and get workouts in. So it's not too big of a difference for me.
Did you think once you get in the UFC, you'd be rolling on garage floors on mats to get ready for fights?
No, I didn't think I'd be getting, especially for in a camp. No, for fun. I could see it happening, but yeah, getting ready for a big UFC fight. Yeah, I didn't expect that.
Obviously, we can't control a pandemic, of course, but you were scheduled to welcome Umar Nurmagomedov to the UFC on April 18th at the first iteration of UFC 249 in Brooklyn, and then sort of everything went down. But that was a really interesting matchup that a lot of fans circled on the fight card because you get 2 undefeated prospects going at it. You get that call that a lot of 35ers wanted to get, and it just wasn't meant to be at the time. How bummed were you from a competitive standpoint that your chance to fight a guy like that was taken away, especially with it being outside of your control like that?
Yeah, well, like you said, out of my control. So I try not to let those things get to me too much. But man, I was excited for that fight. It was a good name, good card to be on. Just all the things were rolling right. Both our undefeated records. That was one that would have been a good fight to watch and good for both of our records. So, but yeah, I was bummed, but man, just keep rolling. And I knew we're going to fight sometime down the line. So, and for now, we'll just see what happens with our next fights. And I still want that fight though, for sure.
That wasn't the best news, but you did get the best news not too long ago. You welcomed a new member of the family recently. Congratulations on that. How are you enjoying fatherhood so far?
Man, it's great. I didn't expect it like this. I was expecting it a lot harder also, but the baby's great. He sleeps good. I get all my night's sleep. So, and mom's great. She helps me out. So she lets me get through my camp with the breeze. So it's amazing. You
realize you just jinxed everything by saying that out loud, right? That everything's been easy and that he sleeps all the time. Like that was the kiss of death right there, Hunter.
I've been saying it, so I'm still waiting for that.
What's been your favorite part so far outside of the you're expecting to be awake all the time, and you've gotten lucky in that regard. But what's been your favorite part of being a dad so far?
Man, just coming home after training and stuff, and just seeing him laying there or just doing his thing, and just being able to go cuddle up or feed him and just take care of him while mom works. So I just enjoy my time being around him and just watching him grow every day, and just he's doing something new every day. So it's always exciting.
This is kind of a cliche question in MMA now, but I'm a dad, so I feel that, and I'm just fascinated by this on mindset and everything. I remember when my son was born, everything just changed. Like I was always a pretty motivated guy, but once I saw him be born and I held him for the first time, like everything changed mentally. Did it feel that way for you? Like, do you look at things, your life, fighting in a whole new way now that you're a dad?
Yeah, everything's kind of changed. Like all my goals and mentality for fighting still there, but it's changed in a way that seeing him, waking up to him, and it just gives me more confidence and energy just to like, all right, I got to go train. This isn't only for me now. Like it's for my boy. This is set up a good life for him and just our family. So man, it's just good energy.
So with everything happening in your life, was there any hesitation to take this fight with Brian? Like, no one would ever think it would be something based out of fear or anything like that. But you're a new dad. There's a freaking pandemic going on in the world right now. It was short notice. Was there at least a conversation that needed to be had in order for you to take this fight?
Just man, I mean, for me, I was like, yeah, let's fight. I wanted to fight. I wanted to fight. I wouldn't say no at all. But of course, with the pandemic going on, and just I had to run it through the coaches and my girlfriend Sage and the baby, just because we have the newborn, just make sure she's okay with me traveling and airports and being around other people for a week and coming back. So that was basically the only conversation we had to have. And she's fine with it. She knows what I have to do and what my life is. So she's with me 100%. So, I mean, it didn't take long to make the decision.
The UFC, and we've seen videos of it so far with everyone getting swabs put up their nose and the reactions to it, but they're testing fighters in Jacksonville quite a bit with this COVID-19 pandemic going on. How are you handling all of this heading into this fight with everything going on in your life? I mean, there's a lot to deal with. Brian's going to have to deal with the same thing, but you get some other things to think about as well.
Yeah, I mean, it just comes with everything in fighting. There's always little curveballs thrown your way or injuries and stuff you have to get through. So, man, looking at that swab going up my nose makes my eyes water a little bit. But but I'm gonna get it done, and whatever I have to do to get in that cage. So.
Brian Kelleher is a game guy. He's got a lot of experience. This will be his 31st professional fight. He's seen some ups, seen some downs. He had a great win over ODay Osborne in his last fight. Obviously, this is a completely different matchup than Umar Nurmagomedov, kind of looking at it from a stylistic perspective. But, when you look at Brian and you saw the name and you got the name to prepare for this fight, what are your thoughts on Brian as an opponent and a fellow competitor?
Man, he seems like a great guy. He has a lot of experience, so I'm not taking nothing away from him. He has a 20-10 record. His best thing I see is his guillotine, and me as an upcoming fighter now, it's just my time to take control of this division and just start climbing the ranks. He's someone I've watched and studied already. I just knew I was going to fight him coming down the road. But I mean, yeah, it's just I love the matchup stylistically. So,
what did you think of his last performance against ODay Osborne? I thought he looked great. ODay is obviously an extremely dynamic fighter. Like, he does a lot of different things that you don't normally see in a UFC fight, but Brian was able to weather that storm and get the submission win. What did you think of Brian's performance, especially with his back against the wall, knowing that was the last fight on his deal?
Yeah, he did look great, and that was ODay's debut. They bumped him up onto the main card, I believe. So, I mean, I'm sure he had a little bit of nerves and jitters, but ODay isn't the same fighter as me either. So I feel like I'm going to give Brian some problems that he hasn't faced before and he's not going to be ready for. I just feel like I'm a better fighter than him all around. Like I said, his best chance is that guillotine. If I stay out of that, I mean, I feel like I beat him everywhere. I'm pretty confident with this fight. I mean, I'm not overlooking him. Like, I ain't saying he's a bad opponent, but I know I know the work I've been putting in this last 7.5 months, and the people I've been training with, and there's been no breaks for me. So I'm just ready to go and just show the world what I've been doing.
I'm trying to remember if this is accurate or not, but maybe I was dreaming this or something. But when the April 18th card started getting shuffled around and you found out Nurmagomedov wasn't going to be on, did Brian reach out to you to try to book a fight, kind of like off the books almost, like sort of set it up and do that? Did you guys talk about this before the fight was actually booked for May 13th?
Yeah, so like his name was tossed my way, and he messaged me and told me that he was offering me and stuff, and he just straight up told me he couldn't make 35 on 2 weeks. If we wanted to go up, he could do it. And man, I don't blame him for wanting to make weight in 2 weeks. So we talked to our coaches, and that fight never came through for the 18th, and the whole card fell apart. And then when things started lining back up, like he tweeted like the quarantine weight or whatever. So then we got on talking and messaging each other, and we kind of got the fight set up, and we both agreed. So, hey man, we're just two guys that want to go fight and get paid.
That's got to be refreshing, right? Especially in this day and age where a lot of fights come together with trash talk on Twitter. This is more of a respect thing. This is more of a, hey, you want to fight, I want to fight. Let's just fight.
Yeah, exactly. Like, man, there's no hard feelings. There's nothing. We both just want to go do our job and put on a show for the fans.
Is it going to be a little interesting for you? I mean, you fought on the Contender Series, so it wasn't a completely empty arena, but it was still pretty lackluster compared to, the crowd you fought in the past. Is it going to be a little strange walking out to essentially nothing?
I think it's going to be a little weird, but the Contender Series, I'm sure helped me out a lot, especially with fighting on a Wednesday, Contender Series on a Tuesday. So there's a lot of similarities there. And just with my training and sparring, like, we just make sure there's no music, no noise going on. We just try to keep it as real as possible. So, I mean, we're all going to be in the same boat. So we just got to see who's going to be ready to show up.
How do you see this all going down on Wednesday night?
Well, I know I'm getting my hand raised. There's no options. But man, I'm feeling great, and I'm feeling a finish coming up, and I think I'm taking out the first 2 rounds.
It's kind of a weird time right now, so it's kind of tough to look ahead, but you're a fighter and you're thinking about your future and where this crazy sport will take you someday. If you go in there, all goes well against Brian Kelleher, do you want to try to bounce back as quick as possible with everything going on? Or do you want to maybe take some time for yourself, hang out with the kid, and kind of see where the chips fall?
I'd be ready to jump back in there. If I come out, no injuries, just feeling great, I mean, sign me back up. I got to make up for those 7.5 months I just missed. So, I mean, like you said, I like to be active, and I signed up to fight. I only get so long to do this, so I'll just continue to stay ready and climb those ranks.
Maybe they could rebook that fight with Nurmagomedov on Fight Island over the summer or something.
Oh man, that'd be awesome, and that'd be a good fight for us both. So,
I mean, can you imagine fighting on Fight Island? Like, when you think about Fight Island, like, what comes to your mind? Like, how do you see it sort of looking in your mind?
Man, I just see an island with some sand, and I can't picture anything. So just island, some sand, a beach, and let's make a circle and fight in that. I don't care.
Well said, man. I appreciate the time. Congratulations on being a dad. All the best to you on Wednesday night when you take on Brian Kelleher, and it'll be good to see you back in there. It's been a minute, especially for you, Hunter. Appreciate the time, man.
Yes. Thank you. Appreciate it. Have a good day.